the Chico. Got me frozen, it's so better leave. I'ma swap it for time and that's take it for me. Move jittery bass in 2 days, I'm on 3, I'm gone. Palomino Patron, cappuccino Patron. Alameda song, stack it up, stack it up.
Yo.
Boom.
Wow. Holy heck, gang. We're back. Welcome, everybody, to your favorite live stream about crypto of the week. It's The Pit, and today we have a very special guest, normally behind the scenes, but CoachPoppaVic has joined us for the stream. So everybody give him a warm welcome.
We got the producer.
Yeah, and instead of just typing to us in the chat when you guys have a question, he'll be able to say it live. And then, of course, with me as always, the main man, Mr. Midterm Cooked himself, RandomTask.
You love it. You love it.
It's a day that will live in infamy.
Yeah, that was a good day. And to be fair, a lot of things were midterm cooked. And here
they were. I'm not saying it's
No.
fallacious. I'm saying
Feels fallacious, but I'll take it. I like fallacious. It does. Yeah. No, you know what? Nailed it. No big deal. January was really exciting. Felt like we were going to come off a bit. A lot of things did. Some things didn't, to be fair, right? There's some shit that was like, hey, midterm cooked. It wasn't. And then it kept going. And that's part of like the whole over trading thing. And we've got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of exciting shit going on. Most of all, having been around since 2017, this is just the most exciting time to be in the market because Bitcoin is just at its previous all-time high. Yeah, anything could happen tomorrow. It could come up. It could go sideways for a month. It could go up. But it's at its all-time high. And there are many ways to define a bull market. Bull trend, weekly W's. We talk about them a lot here on the show, up and to the right. But to me, in crypto, the bull market is defined by Bitcoin being in price discovery. And it is not in price discovery yet. All of this fun we've had, all of these things that are happening, all these coins up and to the right, a lot of these new launches, there's some 100X out there, meme rally again. Bitcoin's still not in price discovery. And so not to be that like, hey, we're all the way up here and it's just the beginning. But like from that perspective, from my perspective, it is very much just at the beginning. And it's hard to see that because you look back, you say, look how far we've come. And we have come a long way. And you should always manage risk. And this is not financial advice. But what's coming, I think, is going to get really weird. Like it's going to fuck people up. It's going to get insane. And for a lot of people, they weren't here through the last bear. Maybe, they joined in 2022 or something, or 2021, like whatever. Like they haven't. So, there's a lot of people that are not used to being up this much or having this many wins or whatever before the bull market starts.
Yeah, I could speak to that because I got in 2016 and I was BTC maxied. And then I completely stopped paying attention, still had some BTC, and then caught the COVID lows because I saw like a news program that said like markets in turmoil. And I just remembered the only thing I knew about investing at the time was like buy when there's blood in the streets. I was like, it seems bloody. Like I'm going to go buy a bunch. But I held that BTC until like mid 2021 and then discovered on chain and all that shit. So this is my first bulla where I like know anything going early into it. And
like you've been here from the lows this time. The lows.
Yeah. Well, here from the lows in more reflexive assets, which changes it up for you,
Yeah, I had a similar story. I actually bought my first Bitcoin, just like $20 worth in like 2014. And
shit.
Well, just because I had some.
I'm the noob. I am now the noob.
Had some
Thanks, guys. I wasn't trying to measure dicks, but now there's day that I'm the new guy.
Yeah, I had some hacker friends who were just like telling me about it from like $80, and then like I first bought it like basically the top of the first like double bubble top, like at like $300 or something. But I just bought like $20 worth because I wanted to learn. Like I thought blockchain was cool, and I'm like, this is cool.
Buying drugs on
at that time. I was really like dollar's going to zero, all this shit, right? So I was like reading all this stuff about gold and about money and all this stuff, and so Bitcoin right away like kind of made sense. And yeah, then I just kind of didn't really pay attention to it at all, like, and I didn't have money, and like not until COVID again. And COVID, I kind of was in a lucky situation where like I was actually doing well in COVID when most people were struggling. And I remember like it was like April after quarantine started, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, you know what? Like I have some money now, and like I was still a believer in like the fundamentals of Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff, but that's all I knew about was Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I was like, you know, I know the market took a shit during COVID, right? I bet you crypto did too. And so I went and looked, and like Ethereum was like $200 and Bitcoin was $6K.
$200.
This is a joke, right? Like
he was like $6.
I was like, I haven't paid attention at all, but I know that ETH at $200 is undervalued no matter what, right? So I just bought a bunch, and I didn't pay attention again. It was the same as you. Like I kind of knew like buy when blood's in the streets, and then all I did was I would look at and I was buying on Coinbase, like paying ridiculous fees, like a new. You know what I mean?
Still am,
but even still, like all I would do was check my Coinbase, and whenever Bitcoin was down like 20%, I would just add like throughout the year. And then it was December 2020. Like at this point, I still didn't know that stable coins existed, because when I first bought Bitcoin, you had to buy altcoins on Bittrex with Bitcoin, right? My first altcoin I bought was Monero, right? Like
primary use case for Bitcoin.
Speculating
on the alts.
But I didn't realize that like stable coins exist. I didn't know about DeFi. I didn't know about any of this shit, borrowing and lending. And so like December 2020, literally like the pico low for alts, I started finding about this shit. I was like, this is crazy, right? Like this is so nuts. Like crypto has evolved to this crazy thing. And like I just like from basically December 2020 on, I was like full time, like, whoa, this is nuts. Like but the funny thing is that by not paying attention, like, and just buying Bitcoin ETH through the dips, like my money for that year, like 5x or something by December 2020. So I actually had like a decent stack for the first time in my life. And I was like, wow, there's some cool shit. And you know,
then you're hooked.
Then you're hooked.
That's how you get hooked,
you know,
dude. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about today is the implications of the golden bull for Bitcoin ETFs. You know, a lot of these boomers, and I've heard talk about, you know, well, no, they're just going to stay in the ETFs. No, they're not. No, they are not. Human beings don't change en masse. They are going to make a bunch of money on Bitcoin, and then they are going to turn around and say, what's next? This is the green light for crypto. Bitcoin first.
What a wild claim people are making, that alts won't go up.
Yeah, like not that alts won't go, but they're just like, oh, like this is just, you know, Bitcoin-centric inflows. And it's like, yeah, it is today, but it's the green light. It's the floodgates. And then, you know, ETH's going to get its green light, and Solana. And then to think that BlackRock's not going to have some index of the top 20 crypto ETF in the next 5 years is insane.
Well, look,
this is a floodgate that is hard to fully grasp. And I really want...
It's also like, who do you think the ETFs are buying from? And what are they going to do with that?
Yeah, what are they going to do with that profit or whatever, right? It's going to roll. It's going to trickle down like we've never seen.
Newtype just mentioned in the chat, Grayscale just launched this dynamic trust that has like fucking TIA and APT and all these staking coins, right? So it's like,
there you go.
What are we talking about here, you know?
Yeah, there you go. And people want access to this. And just like every other thing in their life, if it does really well, they're going to tell their friends about it. It's going to be the talk of the town, Bitcoin up 200K, whatever. Then they're going to start making gold comparisons. So it's going to look cheap at 200K, 150K, whatever it is. Shit's just going to get absurd. Now, I really want to play this clip. Whoever put this together, you're a genius. This is one that I saw for the very first time just as we were coming out of the bear market last time around, whatever that was. We're going to play it. We're going to watch it together. We're going to channel this energy. Then we're going to get after it in the charts and talk about opportunity.
Can't hear nothing.
Yeah, I can't hear the sound.
You told me you could.
I thought it would work, man. Fuck.
Why don't you pull it up?
Shit.
You're the producer.
Send me the link.
Okay, I'm going to hit you up. Sorry, guys. Minor detail here.
My bad.
All right. Now everyone knows I'm looking at the guac chart. Okay.
Dude, when do guac NFTs reprice?
Yeah. Guac has NFTs?
Yeah, guac avatars.
The avatars that they started with NFTs, I think, didn't they?
Ooh.
Yeah, they do fuck all though. They need to do something.
So they're NFTs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do
let me
need
find
devs to do something about
Where's
that.
one? Yeah, I really wanted to channel that. That video is probably my favorite. You know, I tweeted out today. So if you follow me on Twitter at RandomTask555, you probably already saw it. But I thought that was a great way to kick off the show today, because if you do flip over to these charts, I mean, look what we could begin the golden bull run on stream today. I don't think we will. I low-key hope we don't. Yeah, flip over to the charts here. Let's take a look while you're queuing up that video. But like, look, first of all, love the Dalai Lama. For those of you who don't know, the Dalai Lama is just this idea of like these big dumps that kind of just recover, and then just, I don't know why they call it the Dalai Lama, but then
they call it the Dalai Lama because they think that the Dalai Lama meditates while levitating, which is not even part of Buddhism. It's not part of Buddha, and it's certainly not part of Dalai Lama, who's effectively president / pope of the Tibetan Buddhism faith.
Yeah.
So it's the most retarded thing I've ever seen, but it's gotten peak adoption. Right?
Yeah, well, yeah. When this came off, and not to be like, oh, I'm a G, I longed all these things right here. I didn't. I had one. I did, as it was crashing, I put in a stinker at like just around here. There were some fibs all lining up. My buddy's like, dude, you're gonna get front run. That's way too safe. I was like, yeah, probably. So not long on anything here particularly, but got my spot positions, balls long to the wall on spot of everything, and. Point is, dude, once this thing moves into price discovery, shit gets weird. And like, yeah, like, part of me is like, I don't know, is it different this time? And like, we're new highs before the halving. Like, is it just going to be totally different? I don't know. I don't think that the inflows, I don't think that the buying pressure, it's a new beast. It's a new beast this time around. You go to the Fidelity website. We should pull it up today. I'll see if I can find it. And there's like 4 basket options. It's like conservative, neutral, aggressive, and then this other thing. They all have crypto in them. Like, and it's not like they're crypto investments. This is their standard investment packages. The conservative portfolio is like mostly treasuries, some equities, and then 1% crypto. So if you invest your retirement plan into that, you're not like, they're not sitting on the back end like, let's buy a little bit at this dip here or whatever. Let's be all, look at the RSI. They're just moving the capital in. And last week, or was it the start of this week, Fidelity's led all the ETF inflows in the billions. So it's a new beast. I think we're in for something that even the most bullish people are probably going to be caught off guard. Like I said months ago, I was like, I think we're all going to sell too early. Like all of this like December 2025 talk. I mean, let's get there first. But all these people are like, oh, definitely selling December 2025. You're not going to fool me. And like, I think a lot of that crowd, they'll do really well, but they'll get left behind.
Wait, selling December of 2025?
Yeah, like this kind of like playing the cycle. Right?
Too late.
Not going to fool me again, right? This idea of like, I'm definitely getting out at the top next time. I feel like this time around, that's the crowd, and they'll get left behind or at least fucked with. Anyways.
Fred had a good tweet a few weeks ago about how like it was kind of like a checkpoint that he makes sure to remind himself when markets go crazy. And one of the main things was like, your all-time P&L is imaginary, right? Like it doesn't exist. It's you're never going to get close to it, right? Like you're never going to sell at the Pico top of your P&L ever, right? So it was
you shouldn't try to, right? Yeah. You shouldn't try to, because trying to is a great way to get out too early.
But it's so easy, especially like when you're entering and all of a sudden like you have all this money you never had before. And you're like, oh,
I've come up with a plan, and I think a lot of people should really be revisiting their plans through this part. Like, well, if you haven't already, it's always the best time is today to like really harness your shit. But I've come up with a new one that basically takes a little bit out of any winning trade I get. There's a little bit of money hitting my bank. That's a new thing I've got, like a small amount, but it's like there's a constant flow. If I'm doing well, my bank account is growing, and that's mostly just going into an investment account that's mostly crypto miner stocks anyways. But the point is, it's like there's a plan to exit constantly in a drip, and then someday when things are insanely frothy, and hopefully I just honestly look at the balance of everything and just go, I don't need it anymore. And then just be like, don't care where it goes from here. We're all set. We've got a plan, having that end goal. So whatever your plan is, have one, stick to it, and revise it, if you have like strong evidence that it's not
I've already seen
Good.
there's been so much target moving like
Yes.
already, and we haven't even gotten to
Yeah,
that.
I know. The bull has not even started.
Speaking
Like-
of, I got the video.
Okay, let's see if
Let's
the
go.
producer can slap this on. This is the energy we need to channel here, boys.
Their spirits were sunken and low. Their bags weighed more than a ton. There was neither sign nor show when the bull began his run. The shields were shilling wall to wall. The gig was up, they'd had their fun, and every short got a margin call when the bull began his run. The candle's green came fast and tall. Each wick was bold, quick to stun. His eyes burned red and his horns did moan when the bull began his run. Now fortune smiles upon the need. His bags of gold gleam in the sun. Doubters dream of his balance sheet, and every bear is left with none. Since the bull began his run.
Oh, it takes me back.
I saw that video too the other day. I love it too.
Tears.
Jay-Z has a sick song with that sample. It's all I think about every time I hear that.
So let's go back to the Bitcoin chart because the bull's about to begin its run. I'm convinced.
Oh.
I don't see too many scenarios where suddenly there's like a massive exodus of capital. I think if you've held through this and you're part of that long-term holder profile that was reaching 60-70% of wallets, not moving in X amount of days, I don't know if this is the place where they were all waiting to sell. In fact, I would say it's not. Spot ETFs coming in. It's very hard to source the Bitcoin that there is a demand for right now. Right? That's what we're hearing. We're hearing OTC desks are paying premiums to miners to get the flow that they need to pay into what's being bought in. I mean, it's this perfect storm. It's the thing, right? It's happening. It's like the thing that everyone talked about for so many years, where there's just a monstrous demand incoming and a choked supply that is about to get cut in half. So, Moon Boy status for me today. Very excited to just watch this happen. This is the best time, in my opinion, in the market, is just when you're just sitting on this anticipation of the bull beginning his run. So let's talk about implications. Let's talk about some charts. Alts are going wild. Personally, I'd love to see this entire weekend just chill and Bitcoin just relax because the alts are ripping right now. My watch list is just green. And some of my weird coins are going up, man. Remember XYO? You're like, what the fuck? Could you just talk about something we've heard of before? Like, look.
What is it?
Okay, I'll share this. I'll share this, and then I want to hear what you guys got going on. I'll share my one thing. And the weird thing about this, maybe even good for anyone watching, is that I'm actually out of these. As of the dip the other day, I sold them.
I was going to ask. I thought I saw you say you.
Yeah, I swapped. Well, I have a moon bag of this. I had a free position because this one pumped really nicely. And so I had a bid, excuse me. Anyways, I got out at 13, like somewhere up here. I had an ask. It was like a chaos level. And so on the dip, I swapped this and my other oracles over to Golem. I added to my GLM bag. I'll talk about that later. But point is, this one's ripping again today. Thank God that's the one I have the moon bag of. But what looks similar to this, right? I got all these names because Link was ripping and I wanted to be long on that sector, these oracles. This looks very similar. right? 2-year accumulation range, big buy volume, breaking out, retesting. It's probably going to run. I sold it the other day because I wanted more of this coin. So I sold the low to buy this high. But this was sitting in the pumptation zone. And this one, they've got like hundreds of thousands of Ethereum in their treasury. It's just going to be, it's ridiculous. I think this one's going to do like a render catch-up trade. It's like a 10x. So I'm just conviction on that one. But Band is another one. Like, look at this thing. Same exact thing, right? So you're telling me that's not going to run? It's going to run. These are probably going to run. No guarantees for management, but these are going to run. And part of the reason I was softening my position on the oracles is because Link was just really boring. I mean, it's just a slow chug. It did end up closing that 3-day nicely yesterday. I'm just running out of capital. I'm concentrating my bets. So I don't think Band, I wouldn't call that a sell. In fact, I'm already like, can I get this on leverage somewhere with a little bit of capital I have left? Because, RLC, same kind of thing. Found this on the Oracle list. Same thing. Breakout, retest, explode, and then Ori, another Oracle play. Didn't even do the retest. It just exploding. So still have that bag. The Oracles are ripping. So I still like them. I'm out of the two main ones, but like UMA did the thing, 2-year accumulation thing, exploded. APY3 did the thing, breakout, retest, exploded. So there's patterns here, guys. And this is more about trading the human behavior piece. Because if you go to CoinGecko and you click on Oracles, like here's your top 10. I mean, whatever PHA is, like, I don't care. It's an Oracle. It's on the page. So that's just a swing trade I've been in, is a few of these names. The only one I really have left is XYO, which thank God, because it ripped 50% the day after I rotated out of the other. So this is a moon bag I'm just going to be storing for the cycle.
Nice.
But Dia and Band, I think actually, now that I'm talking about them here and looking at those, I'm like, I should get something back, bang out a double and stick those in the vault for the cycle. But for now, that's kind of like my big midterm.
Some good longs, friend.
Yeah. What about you
Good
guys
longs
right now? What's on chain, homie?
I caught some nice longs. Thank God, because I was definitely fucking sucking ass for quite some time, probably weeks. But I caught bonk from pretty much the lows. I think it was like $14 for 1M bonk.
Oh, look at my bonk squiggly. You love it.
I saw it.
That was
Just kind
nice.
of so I like that consolidation that ended up forming that bottom, like the previous all-time high. If you go to the consolidation right before it, yeah, I drew a box out from there, and as soon as I saw it not even be able to get down there for the last like retests, I was like, all right, this shit's probably gonna lift off, and so I caught that. I probably should have closed it sooner. Simon in the pit has been murdering it.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
It's funny because you guys have such banter. Every time I come in there, like you're ripping on him, and he's like, "Shut!" And then like, you guys are.
He was such a morose motherfucker for so long.
Morose is the word. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just like I kept posting Eeyore gifs because he was just constantly depressed about his bag.
He's just cautious. I kind of appreciate that. But every time things are ripping, he's thinking about risk, and I think that's admirable, and he's going to be around.
It's kind of like when Messi was like super bearish at the bottom for like a month, and you and Rob were just shitting on him the whole time. Like, man, figure it out. And then the market starts ripping. Messi.
Oh yeah, that was I know the day, man. That was August 2021.
And he was just so bearish, and then he flips and just absolutely kills it for the next 2 months. Just absolutely smashes it.
Yeah, he outperformed me within a week of flipping, and I had been staying bullish the whole time. Yeah.
Simon had called the top of memes. He basically like right at the top where I should have sold bonk, right before like they all kind of crashed a bit. Yeah. He was like, I think memes are gonna crash, and we all made fun of him, and then sure enough they did. Yeah. And then
so he dropped the midterm cooked.
Yeah,
he didn't even have any explanation for it. He just said gut feeling. This is it for memes right here. Obviously, Whiff recovered. And Pepe recovered, but he called it, and then he also called like the top of a recent rally just market wide. I think it was the other day. But anyways, I caught bonk, and then I had a theory around like I was taking profits on bonk and looking for what to long, and I just had this theory that like if memes are heating up, that means Sol's going to heat up soon, and that means Solana memes are going to heat up soon, and that means Jupiter's going to heat up soon with volume. So I'm just going to long the fuck out of Jupe. And
I bought some Jupe the
sat
other
in it
day
for some time, but it finally paid off today.
Did you get
Well,
when?
Yeah, I picked up some Jupe this week, more just because I set up my Saga phone and I loaded that wallet, and I'm treating that wallet like here's my whole portfolio. It's like its own unique thing. Obviously, it only trades on Phantom directly through Jupiter Swap or Jupe Swap. And yeah, so I was looking around for like, what do I buy on Solana the other day? And Jupe looked good. And it's
Coach, did you just say when went too?
Yeah, when went nuts. That's why I was.
I didn't know.
When, when went crazy.
WEN, this one?
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it went off, and that's like the meme coin, the cat meme coin.
Oh
Jupiter,
my god,
right?
dude!
It went crazy.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's like 200 million market cap or something, I think now.
I could see like, yeah, the sleeplessness that comes with these meme coins for me. Like I don't trade them much, but that's why I like this little Saga phone wallet because yeah, like it's a little smaller. It's like a 1-2% type thing where I'm just trying to rip it. And if I can run that up in memes and bullshit and some good stuff, great. Look at Guac #1 today on the old ticker here, the trending. Guac looks fantastic. And I love how generous it's been, giving everybody the reload zone and then the reload zone within the reload zone.
RT's favorite.
No excuses here. I don't have a bag, so literal scum. But I have exposure. I noticed something really interesting. On the hero staking page, Guac is now in the rewards column, right? Yeah. So you know, hero stakers, you get USDC as it runs through the market, certain amounts of those fees. You get ES Hero, you get Bonk, right? I had a huge bag of Bonk back when it was like nothing for the last year, but Bonk Swap was running and all of those, you know, fees were being sent out to hero stakers. And then now there's a Guac column that just says pending. And I wonder what other tokens may eventually be funneled to hero stakers as more and more things go live on the Hero Network. I'm so pumped for Hero, guys. I know, like, and as the holder, my biggest bag, it's been my biggest bag for years. I've been earning it through running, you know, helping with the YouTube, doing all these things over the years. Like, I'm just accumulating. And I can tell you from a holder's perspective, if you're feeling apathetic, I'm with you. I mean, peak apathy from a holder's perspective. I mean, this thing has had a tough go and it missed the Q4 run and all these things. But I chat with Gunny every week. I'm in the weeds with some of the teams that are building on this thing. I'm trying to, you know, push the needle forward with everybody, you know, advising where I can, helping where I can. And I'm so excited for what's coming to Hero Network.
Yeah, I think it's key because like kind of the two of the biggest flagship projects and products for Hero are about to actually launch. So I think now it's like, I think it's been tough just because there hasn't been anything for people to really participate properly other than Guac, really. But
yeah, Guac was the first. Bonk Swap, I guess, was first. Look, on the gaming side, I mean, I don't have to tell anyone from this channel. You guys probably are aware, right? Gunny just did a long community call yesterday where he went over everything. The iGaming side of things, BitBlock Studios, like the SAM protocol. Like, I'm just excited. I'm excited for what's coming. You know, PepperDex closed beta. I fired it up yesterday. The execution kind of stuff is excellent. There's some numbers, some calcs, and some features that I'd like to see added. So I'm in the weeds with them on like feature requests. We'll do a demo video on here soon. But like that's their like flagship sort of front-facing derivatives exchange. So when shit like that gets going and the spread trading, like call me crazy, but I think we ain't seen nothing yet. And then Guac obviously ripping to new highs today, almost testing new highs. Anyways, it just gets me all fired up because I've completely written off my hero bag. Like it's not on my portfolio. It's sitting off to the side. So I forget that, and then I'm like, what if that? Oh, you know.
RT, do you have any lads?
Fired up. I don't. Mad Lads, no. Should have. Don't have any. Yeah, I did a lot of NFTs in 2021, but I kind of stopped.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped messing with them. I should have through the bear market some, because Mad Lads, when it came out, I mean, it's kind of like if you like Solana at all, this one's going to be their blue chip.
I think Lads are like the kingmaker for this cycle because they got the Dime airdrop, they're getting the W airdrop, they're getting Portal airdrop. So is everyone else, but they're also getting it.
Everyone in the grandma is getting that one. Yeah, I mean, check it out. You can tell without even looking. That's pump change zone material, baby. They're just chilling. Well, 382. They're already moving up, but yeah. I mean, I should probably pick one up for the culture. What is that? 183 Solana. That's a lot.
Yeah, and Solana's pumping. So.
Yeah, but they're going to
1,000
Solana. So
can we talk? Cheap. Yeah, can we talk about Solana? This chart is so sexy right now.
LOL, baby.
Yeah. So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What do you got?
No, I was gonna say, I was like, because we had, W airdrop announced, we got Camino just announced, Parcels this month. So I was gonna say, like, do we think all these Solana airdrops are going to really like juice, the ecosystem again? Like, it seems like conveniently, like Solana starts to, pumping.
Who are they airdropping to? How do I get these airdrops?
Yeah,
you had to watch the toast stream on Solana airdrop farming.
Posted a stream in December. He went off in December on a stream about Parcel and these things. Like, Parcel was my big one after that stream. I went and bought a bunch of the Parcel NFTs at like 4 or 5 SOL or some shit like that.
Dude, for $1,000 USDC LPing, I'm in like top 5% on both my wallets for Parcel.
Yeah, that's epic. Wow, I have a couple wallets for Parcel too. So
PARCL.
Yeah,
Purple.
You can. The reason I farmed Parcel out of all of them was because, like, back in November or whatever, the Soul airdrop hype after Jupiter, or was it Jupiter? Or no, after Jito, right? So everyone piled into Camino and MarginFi and all these ones. And I felt like Parcel was a little overlooked.
Super underfarmed.
It's a very novel product. There's nobody else doing what Parcel does. And to me, that's like one of those things where it's like, there could be a narrative around this, and they have the moat. There's nobody else that does what they do. So I was like, this seems like a good risk reward for airdrop where people aren't paying as much attention to it, and they have their own thing going on where you can long and short real estate. Like, I feel like that's one of those things that TradFi people are gonna be like, oh,
it's a moat, right? Because it's like pretty much anytime someone thinks up something novel in crypto, you're gonna get forked, and there goes your moat. Yeah. But sometimes you figure out something that can't be forked, and what they're figuring out is a primitive, which is housing market indexes on chain. So they're going to be like the place to go for pricing. They're basically a pricing oracle for housing markets. And they're building it by aggregating all of this data and coming up with a way to like mathematically like create an index. And you just can't fork that. Like, it's a lot of hard work. It's like, where's the data coming from? How is it being aggregated? Like, all of that stuff. Like, you can't just copy and paste.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure.
Well, check out this navigation of this big weekly resistance. I mean, this from basically
nice
once
daily cup with handle too.
Yeah, like once we broke above 80, it was kind of like the next major stop. When you just look at the weekly, that's usually where price likes to just kind of take its major pivots. And once we broke above that, it appeared that the next stop would be 140.
Yeah.
And after the ETF approval, we even got this delicious and perfect retest down here, which I actually managed to long that day. Remember, that was the day I slid back in the pit and I was just like, fuck it. Fuck all this midterm cooked. I'm long. I bought Bitcoin and I long Solana. I mean, I didn't hold it till here. The spot I did, but like the futures, I think I cut even before this ABCD. Point is, we've now reached this, and then I was a little concerned up here as far as all the altcoins. Some of the ones I just showed you that have just broken out of big accumulation troughs and retested them. I feel much safer buying those than say picking up Solana at this weekly resistance. But now we've zoomed in. You take a look at it. On the third test, really didn't even quite hit it there. Big rejection, kind of like just chilling here. I wouldn't even call that a rejection as much as just like not a breakthrough. And then this morning, there was news that Pantera Capital is raising money to buy back the Solana that is held by the FTX estate.
Yeah.
That is going to remove a lot of shroud of negativity. Not that was holding it back. I mean, the fucking thing's rallied the entire way through the bankruptcy proceeding, but
the theory was that like the demand was muted because there was all this OTC liquidity at like $60.
Yeah.
just with the vesting, and yeah, they basically dried up the OTC market so that all that demand can now flow into public liquid markets, which is sick. Big ups to Pantera.
Yeah, and I think that move here really coincided with that news. Like I heard that news and I was like, shit, and I looked and it was back above 140, just starting to rip. So we're in a new playground now when it comes to Solana. Of course, this weekly hasn't closed yet, but on the lower time frames, I would say we've broken through.
They were pretty much going straight to all-time highs.
It's going to be hard. I mean, there's going to be a couple stops along the way. I don't see really too much. Again, looking over to the weekly, same kind of thing. I don't know if you're an order block guy, but like, I guess is this an order block here?
Yeah,
it's an order block guy. I don't really care about that level. I'm really looking at like 175. Actually, mostly just, I mean, that's undeniably a level there on the weekly, but really looking at like 200, big round number up in the short reload zone. I will not be reloading shorts in that zone, just to be clear. But that's, I just think that, like, that's the next two stops. And then
I would have said 140 was resistance. I think I talked to someone in the pit about this the other day, but I was just basically like, they were like, well, 140 is resistance. And I was like, yeah, but we never got there. And then we spent so much fucking time consolidating underneath it that I really don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually true all the way to all-time highs. Like if you go and look on the weekly and then look at that depression consolidation before the one you showed me on a previous stream before the previous all-time high. Like it was months.
Here.
No,
here.
Yeah.
So this is what you were talking about before when you said that summer where Messi was super bearish.
Yeah.
That was right here. This was the July, and we were arguing on stream, and he's like, "No, I'm sure."
Rob were yelling at him.
Rob was like, "Messi, get your head out of your ass!" And I was DCAing Solana coins, and then of course, a week into the new bull, he flipped so hard and outperformed the shit.
I think that we just got by basically that, like the equivalent.
This is what we just had. Yeah.
I think that's the case.
Like this here. Yeah, a little bit of a pause. I mean, it's the same kind of thing, right? Big move, strong pause, and then just a strong move after. So if that is the case, you're just foreseeing some aggressive, super crazy market.
Exactly.
And also you weren't actually wrong. Like if you look on a lower time frame, like an hourly or something, we actually did hit 140, and that's where the huge nuke came from.
Dude, how crazy is it that 2 days ago, you know what I mean? Solana was 106? Like you could have picked up Solana at sub 110 less than 48 hours ago. That's insane.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I didn't. I was sitting there. I actually did have my Bing open, and I was thinking about taking some longs, and I stuck a little. But yeah, in retrospect, I actually did. You know what I did? You know what I did? I got a refund from an old bag. It wasn't a refund. It was like we liquidated an old venture position from years ago because it's finally starting to rip. And like really ripping. So we're DCing out 4 years later. That's I guess how it goes. Anyways, it appeared in my Solana wallet, some USDC, and I bought this breakout because I was like, it's like I'd rather not be in USDC. And then this happened, and I was like, I'm fucking stupid. And then, but I'm not selling it. And then I'm just I'm getting bailed out. Right. This is why we call it easy mode, guys, because that was a stupid thing to do. I literally charted it and put it in another chat and said, weekly resistance, not where I'd want to buy, as I had just bought, because it was like a smallish position. I was just adding to a bag. And then I ate it the next morning and I was like, yep. And then, but here we are 2 days later, we're back up. And that's my experience from 2017 was that you could be a little dumb. I didn't really know what I was doing.
I'm full dumb. I'm buying.
And if you messed up, you usually just got bailed out. Again, if you're playing in blue chip town, if you're playing in the fucking mud, you can get rugged and there's no comebacks. So I don't. Yeah, I careful with that shit. But I mean,
guys, this is where like you can get bailed if you're in spot, but if you're in leverage,
and in leverage, forget about it. I would have been cooked. Right? Like, yeah. Should we talk about that? Should we talk about leverage? A little shib. Talk about a little shib story real quick. An example, guys, of why Messi tweets about this too a lot, and he's so on point. I mean, a lot of people do. Like, just don't mess with leverage. You don't need to. Altcoins are leverage. I'll give you a good example. I saw sometime like it was like right here, so Feb 20th, and I saw Dogecoin starting to rip, and I was like, oh, dogs, like Doge looks really good. I'll just long some SHIB. And it was a small position, isolated margin, full liquidation was an acceptable loss. I punted at 20x leverage. I woke up, liquidated. I was like, oh, now that's big deal. That was the amount I was willing to lose on the trade. The problem was that I just moved on with my life. I did not follow up on the idea, and the spot position would have been affordable for me. I could have gone in and just bought that same exact amount spot and said, for the next few weeks, I'm going to hold this coin. Well, that position, instead of being a 3K loss, would have been a 200K gain.
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of swings you'll have if you fuck with leverage on things that are already leveraged. I mean, look at that. You don't need to
20x
leverage
is
that.
nuts for someone with your portfolio size, dude.
No, but you gotta.
What are you doing?
Well, this is the thing. On my margin
shit,
account,
bro.
my leverage account, because the whole point I'm trying to make is don't trade on leverage. I don't trade on leverage, and so my whole friggin' leverage account is like 1% of my portfolio, like less than 1%. It's
So you just
a little peanut, and I just fuck around with it once in a while. Where I'm like, oh, in this case, Dogcoin, like. It was stupid, and I'm not butthurt about it
though. For the
but it's
like,
because one example.
There's a lot of space between 0 leverage and 20x leverage. There's 5x, there's 3x.
Still though, even with some of these nukes that we just had the other day, right? Like you could have been 3x leveraged and got nuked out, right? Like
yes,
you have to be careful, like. In the bull run. I think if you're doing it, you just got to make sure you're paying attention to things like the funding rates and stuff, and like, because there is pretty clear signals like when things get really, really overcooked that like, okay, maybe we should tone it down.
Don't open up fresh positions.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and that's kind of where I fucked up the other day. But anyways,
and
we won't go down that road.
I've been really enjoying low leverage and chill with like Sol margin. That's been my go-to. And
so you're sitting in Solana, leveraging up a little bit.
I got Solana and Drift, and then I'll take like 1, 2x, in some cases 0.8x like leverage positions. And that's been kind of pretty comfy.
Yeah. I mean, and that's and I think to Messi's point, he tweeted the other day. He just said, "Look, maybe 1 in 10 people that I know have any business touching leverage. I wouldn't even say I have any business touching it. I don't. First of all, I don't need to. I don't want to. I might make." We had a little link long going last weekend. Very, very few things. I'm not trying to focus my day on it. And actually, I found for me, it was just because it affects me mentally. Like I hate being in P&L like live positions. I love just being in spot where I don't really see specific P&Ls to any related position. I mean, I think if there was any pain to do with the SHIB thing, it's mostly just like how clean a setup it was if I just took it seriously and looked at spot and whatever. So it's not like don't touch leverage because you could get totally wiped out. It's also like don't touch leverage because you didn't nail it just so you'll miss it completely. And in this case, that's what happened for me. And I mean, God forbid, I can't believe it actually turned out to be dog season. I've never even come close to being long a dog in dog season. This is as close as I've come. Very exciting.
One thing that did very well for me last bull, and I think is probably going to continue to this bull, is like instead of focusing on like 5, 10, 20x leverage on perps with USDC margin, focus on, for me, what I'm doing personally is I want to have layers of collateralization, usually with borrowing and lending. So I'll take the safest thing, BTC, ETH, maybe SOL, and that's my base layer. All my money goes into that. And now if I want to go buy other things further out the risk curve, I'm collateralizing that maybe 60%. Now that's my new little mini portfolio. And I go and I buy slightly riskier things. And if I can collateralize those, maybe I'll go, one more layer. But like having those layers of abstraction, and then I can take that back in. So with Drift, I'm able to, like, for instance, longs bonk from, I think I went from like 14 for 1 mil bonk to like 30 or something like that is where I finally got out. I could have gotten out at 47 if I listened to Simon. I take that and I just take all the settled P&L and I just buy SOL. So now my margin goes up in Solana, and that's how you can multiply sort of your majors bags with collateralization.
Yeah, that's what all the big boys do, to be honest. Like that's what everyone with big bags, like, that's trying to do stuff. They use the collateral to to get leverage and
yeah,
know?
I did a little bit of that on FTX. Like, say what you will about Sam Bankman-Fried, but FTX's software, their portfolio margining system was fantastic. I know a lot of traders who still miss it despite getting hurt by it. Because you could sit there and everything in your account was essentially marginable against your thing. I mean, you could isolate and you could make a sub account, and it didn't have to be like global risk. But it was so sweet because you could just basically be in your trades and then take a little leverage side bet on something on top of all of your spot Bitcoin, spot ETH, spot Solana, whatever.
But it wasn't real.
What's up?
It wasn't real. Like, how did you
Shut
pull
your
off
mouth?
that
It was real until November 2022. You could still pull the money out. It was real.
No, for sure. But what I mean is like, oh, how do you manage that risk engine? Like, they must have had this advanced risk engine where you can handle all of that collateralization. It's like, no, they didn't. They didn't even have the coins that you thought you had. They had to go buy them if you wanted to withdraw. Like,
no, I mean, yeah, I don't know about which detailed document you read. I think post Luna bailing out Alameda is where they got into trouble. I think to a point they were very fully collateralized and everything was fine. And then post Luna, they just put a fat hole in their balance sheet to bail out their buddies, essentially his girlfriend. And anyways, but the point is, it worked really well. It was a great tool. It felt good to not have to sell your Bitcoin to long your Bitcoin.
What was goated for that last cycle was Abra, dude. Abracadabra. You could try crypto, your safe base layer, BTC, ETH, and USDT, and then you could collateralize it in the vaults while also getting CRV and CVX rewards. And then now you have like MIM to go play around with. And I was doing that on mainnet, AVAX on Avalanche as the base layer, and then on ARB using ETH as the base layer. And it was so goated, dude.
Can we talk about Spell for a minute? Because it did not die.
Yeah, DWF.
Yes, DWF special. It didn't die. Look, these guys had an FTT cauldron, essentially meaning part of their supply of MIM was backed by a coin that does not exist anymore.
They had a UST
It had a UST
cauldron,
right?
Like looping Ponzi was wild.
Can we talk about it? Like, the fact that this thing survived at all is a testament to how incredible the tech is, the design, and that is part of the DWF proposal that was proposed right here. As you can see, it was a very bullish event. It basically marked the low, and they came in and they said, look, this shit is robust. We believe in this DeFi protocol. We think MIM and all this decentralized, cauldrons, yield, earnings, whatever, has a place in the future, and we're going to back it. And we've taken call options, and we're going to thicken up the central order book liquidity. And that marked this low. And look at it, fucking go, baby! It's back. It's mooning. So Spell is not dead. DeFi's
all on the timeline, like not even once.
No, nobody's talking about it. Everyone is either like it's that dead coin, right? Yeah.
I think it'll get a resurgence with Tap, because the Tap founder, we talked to him. He loves Abra. It was the inspiration for Tap.
Nice.
And so I think as Tap comes out, like, you'll see a resurgence in Abra.
Crypto Hub in the chat says, I could do with a Danny of this bull market. And I've already made my prediction on one of the new coming main characters. I think it's going to be Natter from DSO. You won't hear from him much this moment. I think when they launched the sale of their Focus token, he was very verbal on socials. And I think when Focus goes live, he's going to like blow up. But I get crazy main character energy from him. He's not afraid to talk about price. He's not afraid to dunk on other protocols. I mean, he's not an asshole. He's just like super aggressively excited and bullish on what he's been building for the last 3 years with his team. Obviously, I think DSO is going to crush and be very popular. Friend Tech, can we talk about that? It's coming back, right? It's getting like there is a flavor for this shit.
Dude, and nobody's done trading at $12 per point.
Yeah,
that's insane.
They're getting crazy valuations now. I think there's like a speculation that they're going to airdrop the entire supply.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that there would just be no side amounts for anybody, and so people are there for like, oh, if it's $1 billion, that's $10 per point or whatever. So, this shit's gonna get crazy. And as of right now, and I actually ran into the weirdest thing. We were at the club in Denver. Not really a club guy, but we ended up at the club for the Blau show in Denver, and we had a table or booth or whatever, and Ed Moss, the head of marketing for DSO, just came out of the crowd and was just like, RT. And I was like, whoa. And so we went outside and chatted for about an hour, just gushing about DSO and Focus and all this shit. I mean, like, I'm buzzing all over again. And I
Get
think
him on the show.
I think he's the Danny of this bull. I'm going to say it right now. I think Nader is going to be one of those guys. Focus is one app going live on this L1 that is DSO. And no, we're going to get Nader on the show, dude. That's what he was talking about. He's like, dude, we got to get Nader on your show, but he's not going to be doing his tour until Focus is live because he doesn't want to do it all like twice and 3 times. And Focus is slated for June 13th. But could come earlier. That's kind of like they're loose. He said, this is a very friendly deadline because we don't want to be late. We might go early. And somebody asked me this morning in the pit about DSO, and they're just like, how do you feel about it? I'm like, dude, I feel bored as fuck at $40. The same way I felt bored as fuck at $9. I'm just like, I'm not out of it. All my shit's in the Focus pre-sale bonding curve. That's just what I'm doing with my money. But DSO. So as far as main characters go, who are your guys' picks? Who's emerging? Yeah, this consolidation looks very good. It did not fall off. It's hard to source this stuff. There's not a lot in the book. And I think the major sellers through this past year of muck, 2 years of muck, all the major sellers got out. So everyone I've talked to that I'm like talking to them about it, they're like, dude, there's not enough. I can't buy any without moving the price. I'm like, get creative, bro, because I think this thing's going to reprice to hundreds of dollars. That's just me, mostly because of Rob, because Rob has pilled me. But y'all know that. What are your guys' picks for main characters? Who's emerging?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Ansem, like
Ansem's the main character.
He's definitely number one for sure.
Yeah.
As a founder, though, he's a main character like crypto Twitter guy, but I'm talking about like the builders, the Luna. Doesn't have to be some like those main characters are all notorious because all their shit died. 3AC, like those were guys the main characters.
It's hard.
I think Kobe arguably was one of the main characters who, last cycle who did not end up, like it didn't end badly for him. But like
Kobe's kind of like the godfather of crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of untouchable. You know what I mean?
Well, that's and he doesn't necessarily, say like, hey, like buy my 1000X. I mean, it's hard to fall from that when you don't set people up for failure. So thank you, Kobe. Appreciate that.
Yo, guys,
founder wise, who do you guys like? Who's going to be the Danny? Who's going to be the guy where like the Andre Cronje, where everything he touches is
Andre's still a main character. I think Tully is a lot more main character than he was last cycle.
Yeah,
it's a good pick, dude. It's a good pick.
A lot more press.
Good pick for sure.
It's a great pick.
He responds to a lot of
like
he's under Vitalik's like tweets all the time. He's under like everyone's tweets all the time saying stuff. Like,
he referenced Bowden today.
He referenced Bowden. Wow.
Have you seen Geo Bowden?
I haven't even looked at it. I don't want to. I feel like it's gonna make me sad.
Yo, shout out to Scrotoshi Jubaka, wherever you are. I know you might be watching. He couldn't make the stream today. First of all, for hosting me while I was in Denver, he let me stop by for a few hours and hang out in his basement before I went to the airport. It was sweet. We got to hang out. But he also shouted out in the pit this morning. He's like, I'm all in. TAS. And I was like, wait, are you serious? What's TAS?
That's nice.
And he was mostly kidding about the all-in piece, obviously, but he called it out right at the pip. And I
another T-Dro banger, banger.
Is it? Okay, so I managed to pick some up in like the 120 zone, maybe 115, 130, but it's starting to go. So
last night I set up an aggressive first limit buy on Uniswap, which now has limits. And
oh shit, check that out.
I wanted to add to it because I managed to get in at like 30 cents or something like that. And so I set up a limit buy. I was about to leave my desk and it just kept going up. And I was like, fuck it. And I canceled the limit buy and I aped the top and it totally would have hit today.
Oh yeah, this would have been your fill. Yeah, I know it was a cute fill in the end. I mean, sitting a bid on these kind of levels. I love that there's limit orders on Uniswap now. I gotta go check that out.
Cool.
We'll see how they work. What are the fees like? Is it on Arbitrum or on L2 or on mainnet?
Dude, you pay less gas to do a limit order than you do to do a swap.
Yeah, that's true. I guess because it's like what was that fucking coin Messi used to Rook used to do this, right back in the day where you could go on Vintage. There. And basically, you like put an order in, and whenever like the ARB opportunity comes up for the people, then it just gets filled. And so it was always cheaper because you're not like, I don't know, makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, is it cow? Is it coincidence of wants where they're like, oh, this person wants to sell, you want to buy there, so we'll just
Yeah.
Net out. Yeah.
Solana is tickling the 150 mark. That's just a nice friendly number. I mean, looking at this level, that's what we talked about. There's not a whole lot of resistance up here. There's going to be buyers and sellers all the way along. But when you think about the types of sellers who might step in and pivot the market, stall the market, reverse something, or really put a foot down on it, they're not going to really be doing much up until these levels we pointed out.
Sell Solana before all-time high besides an
I'm
idiot?
just saying, right? If you zoom into order books, there's just buying and selling everywhere, but it's who puts in these pivots? It's typically the bigger players. They're not going to be doing a whole lot until 175, 200, and even then, all-time highs, price discovery. It's got to be the next ETF, like unless maybe like Link snuck in there.
I saw an interesting. Did you guys watch that interview with Luke, venture coinist, and Suzu that came out yesterday?
No, I saw it on YouTube today, but I didn't watch.
It was actually interesting. They were talking about how, because of like the legal issues the SEC has had, that some of these older crypto coins could easily get ETFs kind of going forward. And like, I mean, this is a little bit far-fetched. But they're talking about, well, not just that, but like the proof of work ones, like Doge, like Litecoin, like these things, because they're
because the precedent is already there. There's no reason
there, and they're more decentralized. They're like, basically, if ETH gets an ETF, these things should just be automatic. And they were saying like, just because like you don't need volume or demand necessarily even to have the ETF. They're like, there's plenty. Suzy was talking about like his TradFi background was in ETF arbitrage, and he's like, man, there's tons of ETFs that no one cares about, right? Even with the Bitcoin ETFs, right? You get like a couple of them that get all the flows. There's probably a few that like kind of don't do shit. You know what I mean? So they were just saying like some of these old proof of work coins could be kind of just like, you could just see kind of the floodgates open.
Dentercoin ETF.
Once the ETH thing goes on, and they were suggesting like a Doge or something like that, which would be crazy, to be honest. I mean,
where do you guys go to check your flows? I want to see today's flows. We're coming into the close of the market. I don't have a Bloomberg terminal.
Exo charts is good.
Hit me with a link in the chat.
I got a few guys I follow,
because I have like an ETF flow bot channel that I got on Telegram. I was so excited about, but it hasn't posted anything since March 1st. I'm breaking up with that one. I'd love to just watch like daily tickers on it, because maybe it's more of like an end of day reporting thing. I don't know. I'm a flow noob. I usually just get my news from other people that follow it, but I really want to find like
we got like an hour and a half still, I think, though, right?
Till end of day today, but like in general, I'm curious.
Someone was passing around a spreadsheet that auto updated with it.
Let's go.
I have a few accounts I have like on notifications that like.
I just want to be clear to anyone watching this. The longer Bitcoin does not break its new all-time highs, but stays above the low it made this week,
there's so much
better. Better. And so I hope, as we said the other day, you're like, wait, RT's going to come talk about Fib Pong. Like, I'm praying for some Fib Pong where we just like chill and get lazy and we have some fun with alts, maybe do this. Like, the longer we just chill, like you said, with Solana chilling below 140, the longer we stay below this level, A, the more explosive the move will be going out. B, the longer the party can continue for all these alts.
I want to see Total 3 look like the Bitcoin chart before we actually break out.
I don't even look at Total 3 enough. Let's go check it out.
It looks so sexy right now.
Oh,
it is sexy.
Yeah. And it broke through. I mean, it broke through what you could have called, like this big kind of weekly level there. So that's pretty sweet. Just like butter, baby. I mean, on the lower time frames, there might have been a little bit of work there, it looks like, but
it's through the monthly imbalance, which is really all I was caring about.
Yeah. I mean, it did. It took a hit through that. Like, there was some work to get through, but we're through now.
Yeah.
On volume, whatever that means. I don't know how they add that up, but God, it looks good, dude. So, when the bull begins its run, I just can't. I got the shivers today when I watched that. I remember somebody sharing it with me, and it was like, I was feeling pretty disbelievy at the highs whenever I watched that. I think it must have been coming out of the COVID crash to the 20K highs. Like, I was feeling very disbelievy, very uncomfortable. It was my first time coming out of a bear, and I couldn't believe what ended up happening from it. And then, of course, The other thing is, and this is what I said to some family members today, I have like a little side fam chat, you know, you gather all your friends and family that are interested late in the bull and you try to like help them. And I hit them up. It's dead in there. Go figure. But I hit them up this morning and I just said, guys, get your shit together. You know, don't feel like, oh, I missed it again. Like the bull technically is just about to start when Bitcoin breaks into new all-time highs. And also remember this, guys, whatever percent, 70, 80, 90% of what people make typically in these bull runs happens in the last little bit. I can say that's true for me for 2017. It was true for me for 2021. And so whatever you do from here until whenever like the latter part of a cycle is so much less relevant than the position you put yourself in for that last little bit, which can't, you know, I don't think this could be the last little bit, technically speaking. So
Yeah.
get your shit together, guys, and don't give up on yourself. It's time for some of that can-do energy.
100%.
Yeah.
Whether you say you
Messi-
can or
Messi-
can't, you're right.
Messi posted a good video that I kind of go back to like not that long ago where he was just on his phone. He's like, guys, like, you're not gonna make it if you don't fucking like, get bullish, right? He's like, this is it,
Yeah.
you know, this is the time.
Yeah.
They're buying our bags, the ETFs are here, like, fucking get your shit together. Like, this is the chance, you know what I mean? Like, don't fuck it up, you know? Like, it was just like a good, like,
Yeah, and if you look, and if you have, and I think that was part of my message just now, is if you have fucked it up to this point, or if you feel like you fucked up, oh, I missed dog season, I'm not long whiff, like, who cares? I'm not long any of those things, and I'm you know, like I don't long those things, and those things are never would have helped me get there. You're gonna see some fat P&Ls every meme season, but a lot of those meme chasers are getting rugged left and right, day in day out, in between those meme seasons. If you fucked up to this point, or if you feel like you're stuck in the mud, just remember you ain't missed shit. Get your stuff together, start getting a trade plan. Probably a great time for me to plug TRI, rationalinvestor.com, get into that community. Big shout out to Dan from Blockmates. He hit me up in DMs months ago and he was like, dude, is this for real? Like, I want to invest in myself. I want to learn how to trade. And I shilled him on, I was like, yeah, like these guys know their shit. It's like a safe, fun, good community. And I say safe in the sense that nobody there is going to like moonbag you into like getting wrecked. They're all like super conservative, but also positioning themselves for the pumps and all the good stuff, like getting into really good runs. Almost every time something goes insane, there's some guy in that chat like, oh, banged out a double, banged out a double, banged out a double. Like, anyways, he's in there now. I see him every day, chatting a lot, learning how to trade. Do like Dan did. I did that in late 2018. And that was my pivot. It was like almost a year later when I was just like, okay, that's it. And I knew, how to manage risk.
I'm a legend. We gotta get
treat yourself. And we got to get Dan on the stream. We got to get Brian Beamish back on the stream when the bull begins its run.
Yeah, I guess whenever we're getting close to their next, it's always a good. He always seems to come on right when they're doing their like acceptances. Like, I don't think it's even intentional. But
no,
like,
I know I do. I invite him in before every term because I'm like, I want actionables, right? I like when he comes in and he kind of promotes. Here's what we do. Here's what I teach. And you can go sign up. He would cringe so hard if he saw the title of this stream. This time is different because remember last time he was on the stream, he said, anytime people start saying this time is different, run. Sell all your shit.
I mean, I put on
but it's different this time.
The guy on the meme, right? I got this here. It's the legend Sir John Templeton, right? He's the one who first came up with this, where it's like the 4 most dangerous words. This time it's different, So,
I mean, this time it is obviously different, though.
There's the environment has.
I love it because it is like you can have this conversation. Like, why
I'm not saying that
post?
like.
Why is it different?
I think it's dangerous when people say this time is different about tops and bottoms.
Yeah.
Like it won't ever top.
And that's what he's kind of referencing and saying.
Yeah. Like if you say this time is different in the very nuanced way of like, whoa, we never got to all-time high before the pre-halving. Like,
yeah, like we never had ETFs. We never had Larry Fink just shilling that.
Yeah, but like people are literally they are loading up this time it's different argument for the top, because I saw Sunday War like flip, like I need to change all my targets because of what just happened with ETFs. And it's like, yeah, I think I feel like I'm the only person who actually thinks that this is going to be just a pretty typical cycle when all is said and done. Like,
like looking back, not a whole lot will be different. I mean, look, the high we're at now is like the Bitcoin just testing its new all-time highs. I think we could look back. I posted some chart to that effect the other day. I don't think it's on here. Wow, there's a lot of weird shit on here. Let's go look at a different one.
Yeah, I saw.
I think
saw
we
Luke,
might have a left translated cycle. That'd be different.
I saw Luke and Sue talking about basically they think maybe that like it kind of just speeds things up a little bit in the future, where it's like we don't have these like massive drawn out bear markets where like the whole industry dies and comes back to life again, where it's kind of like it becomes more institutionalized a bit, like the stock market or whatever.
Up and to the right. Yeah, well, it is. I'd love to watch that because it, you know, I do like to reference his super cycle, like, you know, being early is not the same as being wrong. In his case, it didn't work out as well. They got levered up and fucked over, but or fucked over themselves and their investors. I don't know the details. Not going to throw shade. I'm just going to say this. I think he was right. And to your point, like this institutional bid, you know, like the holder profile, who's accumulating this Bitcoin right now is not the same crowd as who was accumulating it in 2017 or who was buying it in 2021. It's this like ETF kind of thing where it's like, hey, I'll put it in the retirement account, and every time I make $1,000, you know, $25 will go into this. Like, it's a different beast, and that's an insane thought.
I saw him saying, like, making the argument that, like, well, I was right about the super cycle. It's just that we had a mid super cycle correction. It's like, dude, it was an 80% drawdown. It's exactly what the fuck you think it was.
He was one cycle early, presumably. Yeah, right? In retrospect, there was not the driver there for the super cycle at that time. It was kind of like, you know, putting the cart before the horse, getting very excited about it. Oh, the rational investor is in the chat. He says, Dan's doing very well. You crazy kid. Still 2 weeks. Dude, Brian's in the chat, and I'm sorry for the title. I swear I did not recommend it. I'm not trying to put top in the market, brother, but it is, you know, we want to talk about it. Is it different this time? And I, you know, to the point we're just getting at, like the holder profile is very different. We're coming into Bitcoin all-time highs. It would be different this time if we don't go into price discovery from here. And I'm pulling up this part of the chart here because last time at 20K, as we plowed into and swept the previous highs, we then spent 11 days making everyone bleed and regret their leveraged choices. And for those of us who were looking at reload zones and things like that, locally, there was an opportunity to get long before what ended up being the bull began his run. So it got like super crazy after that.
What do we think about ETH? ETH looks bullish, the chart right now.
Yeah,
I'm out of shape. I'm out of shape on ETH. I'm out of shape. I don't have much. I got a lot of ETH beta. Let's talk about ETH beta.
OP
but I don't have much ETH.
OP always rips. My friend the other day, he's like, I'm gonna long ARB. And I was like, bro,
dude, you know what is always ripping hard is ACash, dude.
AKT.
Yeah, it's going nuts. I mean, and if you look on the weekly, it just like hasn't stopped going nuts the whole time. Like it's just been moving.
AKT. Yeah, that's the I always think of altcoin psycho when I think of this.
Dude.
Yeah, he spent its entire life cycle talking about it. Nate remained bullish. He said someday, and he was not wrong. Early, but not wrong.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think I did pick it up sometime in 2021 in the $2 range. Yeah, that's like 268. And then eventually just like cut it and I never revisited, but it is ripping, dude. So what is ACash in a nutshell? Is it GPU?
DPIN. It's not GPU, I don't think. I think it's or maybe it is.
It's DPIN, and I think it's getting a little bit of the AI type of thing too. I'm not entirely
it's
sure
CPU.
why,
Decentralized compute.
It is? Because
yeah,
that's
I don't think it's graphics processors. I think it's like literally CPUs.
Okay. Well, this decentralized compute, and
it's like AWS competitor, right? So servers.
Okay, so that's more like okay. Yeah. So like decentralized storage, maybe a little bit too. Just decentralized AWS. Let's take a look at GLM, Golem Network. This is an oldie but a goodie. I'll give you a bit of the backstory on why I'm super excited about it. First of all, this is a 2017 darling child. I remember it from back in the day. I was trying to accumulate it. You know, it's
a prediction market, right?
It's decentralized compute. And so it's render, baby. It's they were way ahead of their time. This is back when I joined crypto, so obviously it caught my eye. It was really doing well through that, and then it was like, oh, where did Golem go? It died, and then I never heard about it last cycle, but apparently it did something, and then it's just been like big fat weekly W's, and then I don't know who or what triggered this, but in one of the chats I was in, you know, there was this kind of talk of like, yo, the Golem treasury is fat. Like, I don't know the exact numbers. I should have brought them to the stream today, but they raised, they raised in Ethereum back 2017 when Ethereum was like sub $100. They have hundreds of thousands of Ethereum. I know the number I'm willing to say for sure is I heard recently they staked 100,000 Ethereum in the treasury. So they're getting the yield off that. But I also heard numbers like 200, something like maybe 200 plus thousand. We couldn't find the exact number on the website that tracks some of these treasuries, but I will tell you this. I think it's DeFi Llama or whatever site it was, but it's like the top 3 treasury in crypto is Golem. And then you think about, you know, they're pushing into this AI sector, this, you know, decentralized compute. They were doing it before. Everyone who's pumping right now was doing it. And so I think that's kind of the narrative that just brought them back on the scene here. And BitThumb, you know, Korea picked them up the other day bigly through this. I think we saw like 40 million daily volume over there. And then the next day was 400 million volume. So a lot of this huge rally that came out, this breakout, if you will. So I'm super bullish on this. It's one of those concentrated bets I'm making. And through the dip, that's what I was tweeting about, you know, through this dip the other day is like, I just saw this and my conviction is so high on this bag that when this PCZ came in, you know, this EMA tag, I was like, I just got to reconcentrate over there in Golem. I just think this thing's going to rip some faces. I think if it reprices to Render's market cap at something like a 10x, you know, can I get a 2? Can I get a 5? It should be trading at multiples to its treasury, not sub treasury. So
I'm starting to look at all of these tickers as like, unless I'm like doing like some kind of like just quick scalp or intraday trade or something, trying to look at like bags I want to invest in and hold for the whole bull, or at least like the next 6 months, as like how many X's are left in this thing, like Tau, for instance, right? It's like, I mean, it very well could be like a 10x left in it, but like after that, it's in like the 100 billions market cap.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, like what are some of the vals?
Yeah, so
really
starting to look at it, and it's like, man, I really kind of don't want to be in any of these majors. Like, I like Sol because it's community money for a lot of the activities like I want to do, like farming and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's like my base layer collateral, but everything else, like I'm just going to the tail end of the risk curve and looking, looking for things that like just have many X's left in them, and trying to be positioned in those.
So like less interested in the billion plus market caps, you're saying?
Yeah,
like what's your target? Like 50 to 200 is kind of like your zone, your mid cap zone, or lower?
Lower, like sub 100.
Dirtier. So, yeah,
sub 100. I mean, I've heard Messi talk about how like the 50 million mark was like a really good area because like people can come in with size still at that size. Mm-hmm. And they have the room to grow, right? Whereas like when you get really dirty, like into the 10 mil stuff, it's like, well, no one, you can't buy that if you have like 50K or something, right? But like,
the liquidity gets a little gross, and then of like course,
30 to 50 million. It's like people can ape that shit. Like,
I think the X factor is AI. Like, I actually took positions in Ajax, which actually like at the time was sub 1 billion, and you know, like,
is it above 1 billion now?
Yeah, it's like 1.1. Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. It was like 350 when I last looked. Oops.
It's one of those coins that just kind of fucks around a while, and then when it decides to go, it's just vertical. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, it's AI season, right? Like, and so like I think AI coins, like, you know, you could still pull 10, 20 X's out of a billion market cap. So maybe that's where I break my rule a little bit, but
kind of like Metaverse last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Metaverse.
Exactly. Speaking of which, like,
I mean, what happened?
Yo, AGIX is ripping, so I think it's time for me to just briefly mention
hype cycle.
We got to talk about hypercycle.
The other day, R2 comes in the room. I'm talking about Ajax because it was like one of my big bets. Like last year, I was talking about it.
Bottom of the freaking bear, like hard.
Yeah. And I was like very much into it. And I was talking about how it was up. And he was like, that's cool. But Hype C, though, like there's just the spaces where the Ajax founder was saying that Ajax is useless and Hype C is super useful. And I was like, oh, great. I'm going to pull up the Hype C chart and I'm just getting mogged out here. And it hadn't moved. He came in to rain on my parade for a coin that isn't even up.
Yeah, because you know
wait.
me. I don't come and show you highs, bro. I'll give you
I
these
know, I know.
reload zones.
It
And
does
look at
look
that
good, though,
thing.
to be honest.
When did I
The chart
talk
looks
about
good.
it? When did I talk about it?
In
Down
that
in the
chat.
reload zone, in
What's
the
the
place
market
where you
cap
should
of
be
this?
thinking about these things.
Totally.
Yeah, but like I'm never gonna come see you. Like we're gonna talk about it today because this is more like victory lap day, but it's not even victory lap. It's not at all-time highs yet. These guys are shipping hardware. All right, they're shipping units of hardware nodes that will be on their network, proprietary stuff that you need to buy with Hype C tokens. There's a robust OTC network.
Is this actually
There's
2 billion market cap though?
Yes, there's shit buzzing right now in Hypercycle. It's been buzzing. And for
That's why
full
I bought it.
disclosure and for transparency, we invested in this thing. I don't even remember the pre-sale price, but it launched at something like 7x. And it never looked like it never sold off. It was a solid cap table. There was a bid in the market. I think the AI bid is real. And we were even shocked. We were like, oh, yo, that launched at like $1 billion FDV. We were kind of hold on to your butts like this could get ugly because it was back in May 23. It was kind of bearish back then, and it just held. And it's it's been a bit of a mystery for us. We're not selling. We've got our positions. I did a little bit of rotating small parts of my bag into like other coins because I'm out of money, but for the most part, I'm just long and strong. The vesting continues. It'll be another year and a half. But they are shipping hardware. I don't have the exact numbers. I should get them on here one day. But I actually ran into the founder at the airport the other day coming back home from Denver. Very interesting guy, 2 feet. And he always has interesting stuff to say. I would highly recommend you get onto like a Spaces when he's talking with Ben Gortzel, who is also one of the founders on Hypercycle, because it's important, right? His thing, and I'll just try to capture it really quickly. His thing is like whoever trains this AGI, like someone's going to create an AGI, whether it's a country, whether it's a company, whoever trains it, what's the first thing you do when you get like that AGI super godlike power, right? You go out and you prevent other people from getting it, right? If you got this thing that like unlocked the keys to the world, the first thing you would do is focus on making sure you're the only one that has that power. He's like, that's the natural human assumption we can make. He's like, it's very important that the AGI is trained in a decentralized way, that it is not controlled by any single one person. And so that's kind of like the scope or the scale or like the stakes of what he described as being sort of what Hypercycle is trying to do. I can't even pretend to get into like the deeper parts of the neural network that they're building, but it's real AI. And for him and Gortzel to come on and say a lot of the AI they're seeing out there, this AI stuff is fluff, it's BS, it's vapor. They're not sitting around shitting on stuff. They're just saying like none of this stuff is going to do the thing that we need to get done, which is to create this AI in some kind of decentralized way that represents the majority of humanity. So I was really touched by that. I listened to that talk. So I am invested in this one beyond just like holding the bag. I want to see it do well. I don't want to see any one country or entity like take over the world. So
guys, we got a shill from Brian in the chat.
What's he got?
Do you guys remember Cope?
Cope, yeah, that was a heavily shilled one. Is it on?
I just put in a fat daily candle for whatever random reason.
Oh, 7,000% only? Copium? No.
It's just straight Cope.
Probably this
one. It's on Deck Screener. Yeah, that one.
There we go. Oh my God, what was that?
That was that.
I mean, because this one goes way back. Yeah, this one goes like.
Yeah, it was like the influencer token.
Yes. That's all I remember is guys on Twitter being like, this is going to be the future.
There's some sort of weird, like, I think he's right. There's something weird happening here. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is weird. I mean, this is just like a market buy, but it closed a candle up there. It's not even like a space needle.
I feel like I vaguely remember what that was.
Like an influencer token thing. Like it was kind of like you could like.
This looks like a pump group. I mean, it's like this is an hourly, so it'd be like a 12-hour pump, but it looks like a pump.
About it on CT. I forget what it was.
It was like there was this guy who was like a pretty well-known dev, Siri or some shit, I think was his name, and I think it was kind of like it was like tracking the top traders or something on CT.
Yeah, you could see how people's calls played out.
Yeah, something like that.
It's got like ranking,
but it was airdrop to everybody. It was like a fat airdrop, I think.
Yep. I remember that now. It was like put your money where your mouth is, get ranked, it's all about like the clout. Clout.
Yeah. It was like a clout. It was a clout coin for sure.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
Also, I just want to mention for everyone watching the stream, if you guys are enjoying this, smash likes. We got 80 viewers and 9 likes. It's a bit disgraceful.
Yeah, it's a little bit disgraceful. Hey,
If
if you're like me, you just forget. It's okay. We forgive you, but hit that.
Smash that like, help us out. We're gonna start trying to. I'm gonna start trying to stream more, do some more charting streams in between RTs.
And shout out to the producer who really kept this channel alive, because I had 3 babies and said I can't run this thing anymore. Like, I'd like to show up, I like streaming, I can do it, but I can't handle the hosting and organizing the guests and all the. And our producer came in here and really saved the channel in a way. So give him a shout and throw us a like for his sake. I'm gonna give the video a like. Boom. Because yeah, this shit ain't free, guys. It's hard work and we don't get paid for it. Really, I mean, from a channel perspective, we don't get paid. I get some hero tokens, full disclosure, because at the beginning it was literally my 12-hour day job.
You get hero tokens?
Wait, no. Only I get hero tokens. Toast is just here for the deal flow, and but no, it's really special for us when we see some love in the chats and love in the stuff, because we don't charge and make money off the channel.
I don't need any money from you guys. I just need you to buy Jewel by Pika. That's all I need.
Yeah, he's just here to shill his bags. What's Pika doing? Oh, I have Pika, thanks to you.
Dude, please.
One of my flattest bags.
Tell me some positive TA about Pika.
It's one of my most boring bags. Look, I had all these things lined up. I didn't buy the green boxes. Actually, I did. I finally just got my slug here. So I'm actually literally flat on my slug. It's the most boring thing ever, but it's not dead. It looks good. This is probably a great accumulation area. I'm happy with it. If it comes to this 88.6, I might double down. Unless you tell me it's dead.
Don't say if it comes to that 88.6.
I'm just saying if it did, like, I'd have no choice.
I'm just saying
I'd have to.
Don't say that.
But we could probably delete these now. That was kind of like, I put those boxes up there when it was falling off hard. You were talking about running to the bank to wire it in. I said, bro, wait for the green boxes. We're down in the zone where this shit's not cool right now. And it's going to, when it gets cool, you'll be like, oh, look at those zones. I wish I was paying attention. I think this is probably one of those. Picasso.
This is why I don't like waiting for deep reload zones and accumulation ranges, is because it's fucking agonizing, dude.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. You like to ride the momentum and trade the breakouts, and I think there's a lot to be said for that, because these accumulation zones can last a long time.
Dude, I'm just getting ripped on in every Discord.
You did chill it really hard, but the other side of it is, like, you wait, like I did with Bonk, and you just miss it, right? You blink and Bonk's gone. And so instead of just being bored for 3 months, I was trying to time it. As you can see, my squiggly got a little bit delayed. And, I missed this breakout, and I was like, well, it'll probably come back in. And it was like, nah, I don't think so.
What do you think about HNT, bro?
I have a free bag, so I'm not watching too closely. I overtraded it a little bit through here. But I've got that free position from back, Jan. No,
What's
God,
the
that
high
was
on it? Isn't it like
November. Dude, if we go back, if we go back now, I keep hearing mixed reviews on their tokenomics. So do your own research, because I certainly have not. I'm just long on it because it's a Solana play now, and because it's like already got the US, T-Mobile, Virgin Mobile, whatever it is. Like, they're on that 5G network. They're offering unlimited everything for $20 a month. I mean, I think that's going to run hot. And their decentralized kind of node network, probably shit right now. But until that's fully fledged and operational, they're running on like an existing infrastructure, whatever it is, T-Mobile network. So I think that's just a great story. I think that thing is going to catch fire, and it's already traded above $50 before, and it's still sitting at $8. So yeah, I like HNT.
I also think like it has this like normie coin fucking like thing with it. Like last cycle, I found out about HNT from all these random people that aren't crypto at all. They all were buying these $600 miners.
Helium,
what the fuck are you doing, right? I was like, what is this shit, right? Why are you buying a hardware? Like, what are we doing here? But I think there's a lot of these type of people who still have these fucking miners, right? Like, so
these nodes. Well, look, there's 3 tokens, by the way. I knew there was 2. I just found out there's a 3rd one, Helium IoT. So I don't know which one to buy. I really wish I could dive in.
Helium IoT.
I think T-Draw. I just have HNT because I'm like a boomer. I'm like, give me the normal one, give me the straight up one. But this looks decent. I mean, could this trade higher from here? Probably. I'd like to get T-Draw to tell us about it, because I know he's dug into this. He's got a whole thing.
Yeah, we're overdue for a stream with.
He's
with
most bullish
yeah,
on this one, according to what he told us, which is mobile. So there's three. There's mobile,
yeah.
there's HNT, and there's helium IoT.
He actually, I'll put a little show here. He actually did a stream with one of the check in the chain streams he does, where he went pretty into the whole mobile thing.
Yes. No, I know. I told him I was going to watch it, and I lied.
It's on the channel. Go look at some of the check in the chain streams with Tidro, and we are due for another one. He wants to. I'm working
Dude,
on
shit's
something.
gold. Main
I think
character of the
I think he's in the
cycle
chat.
is Tidro,
I think
dude.
he's in the chat right now. I feel bad because I told him, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about it this Sunday." I was like, "Dope, I'm going to catch that," and then life happened and I missed it. I'm going to go back and watch it, but mostly I'm like, "What the hell is helium IoT?" There's a third one. So I've heard people shit on the tokenomics.
Dude, like,
you know, so
9 out of 10 shills from Tidro like are
Go
like
20x plus.
50x.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Guys, buy this.
Yeah.
Yo, RT, we got Alan in the chat has been asking for Ample, one of your babies.
Oh baby, don't get me started on Ample. We need an hour for that one. I was hoping somebody would ask me about Ample. Like, I've been waiting for that question. But real quick, I saw somebody mention Pith.
Yeah, we got Pith too.
You know, I like Pith. I think Rob Levy likes Pith, and he's the one who told me. He's like, dude, it's got so much penetration in the Oracle space. Actually, I just listened to them speaking this morning with Pepperdex on a Spaces on Twitter. So I heard their voices for the first time. Really smart group of guys giving out grants within the ecosystems. Like, huge fan of everything they're doing. And then, can it reprice closer to Link, which is kind of Rob's thesis. He's like, dude, like, it's gonna reprice. You know, Rob. He's like, so he's liking Pith. I think this dip was insane. I don't know where the hell that slippage came from on a spot market, but you know, they're off the bus and it's just recovered all the way back up to 66 already. So I think Pith is just going to trend into price discovery. They are giving out grants, you know, so maybe there's some sell pressure. And then from one of the early investors, I do know that I'm not an early investor, but from one of them that I know, the next big unlock is this summer. So being aware of that, something like July. So look into the unlock schedule. I don't have the exact date.
They are on but
I like Pith.
In the bull market, a lot of these unlocks end up it just rips right after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember that
There's a
last
huge
time.
unlock on
Oh, we're going to Ampletown, baby.
there was a Tia unlock that like barely did anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not too worried about the unlocks. It's just, you know, being aware of supply and demand and where that supply comes from and when it's going to hit the market and just plan accordingly. It doesn't always mean, in fact, as we know, you know, the biggest unlock in Solana history marked the low. Nobody sold that unlock. It was just selling into it, and it was the $3 Solana that you wanted to buy. So this is not actually the real market cap. Apparently, I found that out yesterday from Messi. But look how good it looks. Anyways, you know, this is Ample Fourth.
Not the real chart, but it looks sick.
We are going to have Evan from the Ample Fourth team on stream. Okay, we met with him in Denver last week. We'd already had some calls with him. There's a lot going on under the hood on Ample Fourth side of things. And they just developed a new second token. And I won't get I almost don't want to get into the deeper dynamic of it. There's a 12-minute video I'm happy to share with you guys in the pit that really helped me wrap my head around it. It's super fucking cool. That's all I'm going to say. And the total addressable market, TAM, go ahead.
What's the fourth token? Because there's a fourth.
So fourth is governance. Yeah. So fourth is the governance token.
Okay.
So if, you know, as they develop a treasury, blah, blah, blah. You know, one of the things you got to know. So I've also just recently, somebody told me that this one, you know, they're like, you should have some of this too. I don't actually have any of this. Ample and wrapped Ample, what I call endearingly, I call it Wample. Probably should. That's how it's pronounced. But those two coins make up like 20% of my portfolio right now. Like, I'm very much accumulating the shit out of this token. I don't have any fourth. And looking at this chart, it looks fantastic. I probably should. It is, you know, quote unquote, the useless governance token, which my buddy jokingly pointed out. He's like, because you can't value them. So, you know, they're probably going to be super valuable. People just get excited.
Coinbase too.
It is on Coinbase. Yeah. So, but here's the chart that gets me fired up. And this, sadly, Canada just got an announcement on Coinbase. The Canadians are going to be banned from trading this. So I'm going to have to withdraw from Coinbase. So stupid. I mean, Canada just sucks. I think it's some form of derivative, I guess, because it's a wrapped Bitcoin. We're not going to be allowed to trade wrapped Bitcoin.
I don't understand. So banned.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, I saw wrapped Bitcoin and PAX, you know, like anything that is a representative of another thing, I think is getting kicked off, like Canadians on Coinbase for that. So either way, Canada sucks in many ways. I still live here. I love it here, but regulatorily, we are just awful. Anyways, this is Wample. So 10 cents of this coin, right now it's 1878. For every 10 cents that is priced into this coin, it represents $1 million in FDV. And when you think about Ampleforth and how it works, it's expanding and shrinking supply, positive, negative rebases. It's very much the kind of coin where you don't want to think about it. It's a flat coin. Let's go look at the actual coin, goddammit. It's a flat coin, so you have to think about it in terms of its market cap, because the coin itself just looks like this. Not very exciting, okay? But it's the network value, the FDV, the size of the supply. Right now, it's in an insane positive rebase at $1.80. So every time it's trading above its peg, it's rebasing, adding supply. Every time it's trading below its peg, it's negative rebasing, shrinking supply. So the coin itself looks super boring, but wrapped ample is a nice way of visualizing the growth in the value of networks as it positively rebases, as more people pour in, as demand grows for the underlying token. Spot is their new stable coin that is essentially collateralized by Ampleforth, and that's what we'll get into with Evan on stream from their team, because he's smarter and can tell you better. Anyways, this represents the value of the network, and I just think it's fucking moons. So I've been loading up through this reload zone. I've been just begrudgingly adding on the way up, because I was like, the scope of it for me is too big to like worry about, can I catch a dip? I just want it in. So I've been loading in, 8s, 9s, 10s, 12s, 13s. I think yesterday I bought some at 14. Very pleased to see it finally starting to move. But when you think about it, and I guess the last thing I'll say on it is like, so Spot is their new secondary token. It's meant to be a stable, not even $1. It's pegged. Here's the peg. This is what's interesting, what I found out. A CPI adjusted 2019 US dollar. In other words, the peg moves up. So Ampleforth is not pegging to $1. Right now it's pegging to something like whatever, $1.06, because it's CPI adjusted 2019 dollar. In other words, imagine a money that instead of over time losing value and buying power, it maintained its buying power. It factored in and maintained, like based on inflation, so $1 that doesn't lose value. That's essentially what they've created and what they've been after. And so this Spot token continues to adjust over time with CPI. And then last year when they changed the CPI calculations, Ampleforth put through a governance proposal, and they say, no, fuck that, Fugazi, we're going to maintain. So like they can adjust how they decide what buying power is to ensure that this thing keeps pegged to sort of $2019 buying power. And I think that's a super powerful idea. It's entirely decentralized on Ethereum. If they've created a better money, I would like to buy a piece of that stock. There's my hot show. There's my hot take. So I have a huge bag of this, full disclosure. I bought it on the market like everybody else. It's flipping today. I don't know if this is a buy here. I don't think Ample, anywhere like super deep into a positive rebase is the right time. Messi quote this morning told someone, don't be retarded and buy Ample here. But, paying attention to it. Again, I don't give out buy recommendations on here. I'm just telling you what I'm super excited about. And this is one of them. This is the most one, actually.
Where's that? Can you link me that video you're talking about that kind of breaks it down, and then I can put it in the description or whatever?
Yeah, let me.
Like, I know it's a bit like you and I kind of like don't fully understand how this shit works, to be honest.
Dude, you've got to check it out. It's so cool. Like their senior and junior tranches, they basically take like the volatility. Anyways, we'll get into it. I'm gonna have him on stream. He's insisted that he'd like to come onto this stream in particular and talk through the whole thing. I'm like, please do. Yeah. And there's a little bit more there too that I can't talk about just yet, but we're very excited to have Ampleforth on here to talk shop.
Yeah, let's do it for sure.
And my takeaway from this whole rant is that I need some Forth. Forth looks really good. I don't have any. I have 0.
Toast, weren't you like the rebase god last fucking cycle?
Yeah, RBG.
You're deep into all that.
RBG. Look at this chart, dude. I need some Forth in my life. I don't have any. So I'm going to, probably my takeaway if I remember after the stream today, I'm going to pick up a little bit. Don't front run me. Relax, everybody. It's going to be a long cycle. But I should probably get some Forth. Yeah. So maybe that's it for today. That pause tells me we might be near the end of the stream today. It's 3:12. We're coming up on that hour and a half zone.
I'm going good.
Got the producer in the chat, and we've got Brian Beamish himself has been hanging with us in the chat today. So appreciate, honored to have you in here, sir. Fun listening to you guys. Good luck, have fun. No, there's nothing different this run. Business as usual. Look, the cool thing is he's very much on board with, we're ripping to new highs. He's like, prepare because the bull's coming. And I love when Brian gets bullish because he's so good at being cautious and bearish and protective of his assets at the right time. So when he's bullish, shit's about to get real. And with that, let's take a quick final look at the Bitcoin chart. Because I think it could go into price discovery before Monday. I really wanted to wait. It'd be nice, if it happened during the week next week and we have a party this weekend in All Town. But it's just, I don't think Bitcoin gives a fuck what I want. We've got one more day in the week. That's tomorrow, Friday.
It's what Larry Fink wants.
Yeah, let's say, whatever Larry wants, Larry gets. And, everyone over at Fidelity Investments suddenly has crypto exposure. So, there's trillions and they're all coming to buy our bags. That's exciting stuff.
For real. Yeah, guys, give the stream a like. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm gonna try and stream a little bit more too, mix in some
get in
streams.
there.
Because like
you're the weeds.
Sub. I'm out here, might as well, So I'm gonna try and mix in some charting streams, just like in between, our banter streams, and whenever RT can come on and do charts, or maybe I'll join you for charts sometimes. We got T-Dro dropping alpha every 2 weeks or so on the stream too. So make sure you subscribe, like, support the stream.
Hell yeah, guys. Until next time, whatever you do, pay attention and always play from the position of strength. Oh, shit. I just about messed up my own line.
Get wrecked.
Damn it.
Get wrecked.
I'm getting fired up about this bull market, man. I'm stuttering and shit.
By the top, get wrecked.
All right, everybody.
Don't do that.
Until next time.
All right. Be safe.
Peace.
Be